Good afternoon, class. Today we're going to be looking at a multiplication of fractions problem. Specifically, we're going to look at this problem, which is 3/4 times 1/2, or what is 1/2 of 3/4. We're going to look at this in three different ways. This is our symbolic model, and we will look at that in the last example. First, we're going to look at it with a concrete model. Then we will look at a visual model to represent this problem, and then finally we'll connect it back to this, our symbolic method or model. First, we need to remind ourselves about what a fraction means. It means we have 3 out of 4 out of a unit size of 4 and 1 out of 2 with a unit size of 2. So let's get going and let's look at our concrete model. If we look at our concrete model here, we've got a magnified inch and our problem again below. And in order to do this, we are going to use a piece of ribbon to model these two fractions. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to get a piece of ribbon that is 3/4 of an inch long. And so when I look up here, I remember that this is the unit size of 4. So I know I need to figure out what I have 4 unit sizes of. And so if I notice here, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I want to cut my ribbon at that 3/4 size or 3/4 size. And so we're going to cut our ribbon to be 3/4 of an inch long. And then the second piece we want to represent is our half. And I am simply going to take this ribbon and I'm going to fold it in half to represent halves. Half of my 3/4. So when I open that back up, I notice that I have that line and I want to cut right along that line to represent half of my 3/4. So here I want to take these two pieces of ribbon and I want to line them back up, and I need to notice also that my inch is also divided into 8 pieces, which is that each little line, okay? So I notice that this half has 1, 2, 3/8, and this half has 1, 2, 3/8. So 3/4 or 3/4 times 1/2 is equal to 3/8. And now we're going to go back here and connect back to our visual model. So I'm going to start by rewriting our problem. I'm going to use a couple of different colors this time. I want to write our first fraction, which is 3/4. And again, reminding ourselves that means 3 out of 4 with a unit size of 4. So up here, I'm going to draw an area model, and I'm going to use this area model to help us understand visually what's going on. So if I want to represent 3/4, the first thing I need to do is I need to represent those 4 unit sizes. So that means I have to have 4 parts. And I want to represent my 3 by shading in 3. So I'm just going to shade them in with a diagonal line. I'm going to represent the 3 out of 4 with a unit size of 4. I'm going to change colors, and I know I'm multiplying by 1/2. So now I want to represent my half. And I'm going to do so by dividing my area model into two parts, that unit size of 2. And my numerator tells me that I have 1 out of 2 with a unit size of 2. So I'm going to draw diagonal lines the opposite direction, and I'm going to shade in half of my area model. Now, I need to notice that now that I have divided my area model in 2 different directions, I have more pieces. My unit size has changed. I now have a unit size of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need to figure out how many out of those 8 I have shaded with both colors. And so I'm going to again change my color, and I'm going to box in the part that has both red and blue. And I notice that we have 1, 2, 3 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that's shaded by both colors. So I have 3/8, and if we remember back to our concrete model with a ribbon, the length of our ribbon was 3/8 of an inch. So I now want to connect this to our algorithm, our standard algorithm, that says when we multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So if I look here, I have 3 times 1 is 3. And here I have 4 times 2 is 8. And indeed, I have connected back to that standard algorithm. So we have looked at a concrete model with our ribbon. We have looked at a visual model with our area model. And we have looked at our standard algorithm, 3/4 times 1/2 in our symbolic representation. Hope this helps. Have a great afternoon.